Today is the day we find out whether or not the Las Vegas Venom will see their first taste of postseason action. Entering today's episode, there are 22 games left, and we are 2 games out of the 10 seed. With the Phoenix Suns ahead of us, they have that really talented backcourt in Booker and Mitchell that are leading the way for them, covering up maybe some holes elsewhere in the roster, although Malowacz has blossomed into a pretty nice big man for them as well, but their forwards are pretty weak. But when you have Booker and Mitchell, that can be covered up a bit. We're also probably in range of the Clippers, but I'm not sure if we're catching up with them. They are still built around Kawhi's still there, although I don't know at 83 if they're still building around him. Their top player is Kyrie this season. There's also the team right behind us in the Houston Rockets with Jaylen Brown and Alperen Şengün leading the way there. Reed Shepherd has become a solid starter there as well. So pretty competitive, but I do think when you take a look at the teams, I mean, we are right there when it comes to quality. It's just a matter. We kind of started the season slow. We didn't know 100% what we wanted to be as a team yet. Took a while for the new players to mesh. They're starting to do it, but will it be enough here to snag a play-in spot? We got 22 games left. I'll catch up with you in 11 to see an update. All right. 11 games later, we are now 35 and 36. We've dropped 1 game below 500. We beat the Wizards behind 34 from Simons. We then beat the Celtics behind 34 from Nixon, with 29 from Simons and 28 from Will Burke. Unfortunately, we then went on a 5-game losing streak. Pelicans, Clips twice. The Hawks and the Warriors all beat us. We would then beat the Mavericks. 3 players scored 20 plus for us in that game. We'd beat Chicago. Double 30 bombs from our backcourt. And then we'd beat Memphis behind 37 from Nixon. I'm seeing a lot of high turnover games from Nixon. But then we'd lose the second of 2 straight against Memphis. We're 35 and 36. Now where do we rank here? We are fallen now below even Houston. So we're no longer 11, we're 12th. We are now 4.5 games back, based on this games back formula, from the Phoenix Suns and the play-in. Wow, Phoenix, isn't there like a last 10? 7 and 3 in the last 10, as are Houston. So 2 teams that, were around 500. Phoenix just over it, Houston just under it. They've both gone 7 and 3, while we've just gone 4 and 6. That 5-game losing streak might be what keeps us. But with 11 to go, this isn't an insurmountable deficit. The San Antonio Spurs are the winners of the NBA Cup this season. Victor Wembanyama takes home the Cup MVP. We would go 6 and 4 over our next 10 and currently have a 41 and 40 record. We picked up victories against Cleveland behind 31 from Simons. We picked up a win against New Orleans. Jordan Hawkins' revenge game. He got 27 in that one. Bucks, pretty well-rounded effort there on our side. Nixon drops 29 in a win against the Timberwolves. We beat the Bucks by 8. Nixon leads us there, and then we absolutely smoke the crap out of the Pelicans. a combined 68 points from our starting backcourt there, and a double-double for Jarris Walker. 41-40. Is that enough to have the play-in still an option for the final game? No, it is not. The Houston Rockets. It looks like they've guaranteed the play-in, which means the Suns are also. They have the same record as us. Wait, how did they? They're 1-9 over their last 10. That something had to happen. Yeah, they lost Donovan Mitchell. That sucks for them. They were looking like they were playing for sure. But losing Donovan on a top-heavy team is going to do that for you. The one thing we do have playing for us for the final game is trying to get a winning record for the first time in franchise history, though. Of course, a loss would have us right at 500. So if we want to finish with a winning record, we have to beat the Reign. Now, of course, the Reign were a team managed by the subscribers until recently. And it's going to be fun to face them here to finish off our season. It's been requested, so I'll quickly kind of go over what they're getting stats-wise from this roster. We're pretty familiar with it for those who followed this team while it was being rebuilt by the subscribers of this channel, but looks like Norm Adams is still injured, huh? 1 to 2 weeks. You know what? I usually don't do this, but just for this game right here, so we can see him play as a rookie, since he was kind of the last move made by the subscribers. He is magically returning for the final game of the season. Now, would somebody return for the final game of the season in real life if he has been out like the whole year? No, but this is 2K, and I want to make this last game more fun by getting a look at Norm Adams. You know, we got to see a look at Brook Paul, but we haven't yet seen Norm Adams play, and I want to see him play as a rookie. Are they not going to start him even though he's healthy? Guess we'll have to see him come off the bench, but that's fine. He should get some minutes here as he is now healthy for game 82. Not playing for the postseason, but we got something to play for. Game 82 now officially underway. Let's try and end the season on a high note, shall we? Anthony Simons to the cup for the first basket of this outing. Kispert inside. Janai Broom zooming his way to the basket for a dunk. Just a quick slip inside from Will Burke. Gets his first points on the board. And speaking of slips inside, Corey Kispert. A little bit of a slip screen there. Both teams going heavily into the painted area to start this game as Will Burke takes advantage of the mismatch in the post. Simons gets by Ryan Rollins, but blocked on that layup attempt. Going the other way is Kansas City, and Rollins a left-handed finish at the cup. Nixon waiting to find somebody open. It's Anthony Simons. Finally, we get a deep ball, and it's in there for three from Anthony. Broom on the pick and roll once more scores. Pick and roll this time with Duran up top over the outstretched arms of Jalen Williams for the basket. Nixon gets a screen from Jarris Walker and gets the slam on the other end of it. Well executed pick and roll there. Strother going inside on Kispert. Gets the and one. Tough layup there from Julian Strother. Nixon to J. Will from the mid-range. 21-7 here, under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Spinning into a mid-range jumper around the rim and in for Frozone Nixon. Back to him here. Step back. That is smooth as butter for Nixon. Dragic gets to the rim and jams it on top of Jalen Williams. Nice drive there from him. Nixon on the other end gets by Norm Adams, checked into this ball game now. Dragic isolating against Hawkins and gets by him once more. Not as stylish maybe as that last shot from him, but still a very good one. As Nixon is really starting to get things going here in the mid-range. Adams has space from just inside the free throw line. Been a close ball game here so far in the first quarter. Shot clock winding down. Tough shot from Nixon. Rebounded by Norm Adams, and it's going to lead to a Dragic three that he misses, but tapped back up and in by Jalen Duren here to end off the first quarter. Inside. Good look from Will Burke to get things going in the second. Now it's Nikola Jovic making the most of a pick and roll opportunity here, and just running right by Vucevic down the court is Will Burke. Simons picks up the assist. From the corner, Bryce Sensabaugh takes a screen, turns it into an easy two. Isolation, Simons against the rookie, and he gets by him for the layup. Vooch from the elbow, looking for a cutter, and it's Norm Adams wide open. Rises up for the two-handed slam. Baseline inbound, bounce pass into Anthony Simons, a good catch and shoot look from deep. Vooch inside is stolen away by Will Burke. Las Vegas running down the court. Paris Webb will get the finish with the right-handed layup. Adams, good look from deep, drills it. His best ability coming into the league. Showing it off there. Will Burke pick and pop. Easy money from the mid-range. Hawkins gets a screen from Paris Webb. The pick and roll is just too easy for the Venom. Going back to it here. This time it's Simons and Burke. Same results as the Venom now lead by 8. Halfway through this second quarter, Kispert, after setting the screen, slips to the top of the arc for a tray ball. Dragic, that is a beautiful alley-oop to Jalen Duren, getting it over Will Burke's outstretched arms, which is not the easiest thing to do. Dragic takes the foul from Webb. And all of a sudden, that 8-point lead has diminished to 2. Jarris Walker trying to get it back up. He misses, but an emphatic putback slam from Will Burke, who then gets the block here on Ryan Rollins. Now defended by Rollins in the post. That's just too easy for the big man. Nixon, he'll go against Rollins this time. Gets to the 10, gets the bucket and the harm. In transition, Dragic slips inside for the dunk. Simons getting by Dragic here, hanging in the air for that layup, allowing the defender to blow by him. One last play here in the second quarter. It's going to be the Reign taking the final shot. Dragic from deep, no good. It's a 9-point Las Vegas Venom lead into the break. You know, the 3 usual suspects all doing a good job scoring for the Vegas squad. And Walker at 1 of 4 is the only guy under 50% shooting from the field. Dragic taking by far the majority of shots for the Reign, and he's the lone man in double figures for the squad heading into the third quarter, which Jarris Walker starts off with a triple. Inside, Ken Nixon at the cup, lays it in. A good find from Ryan Dunn. Walker has already drilled 1 triple in this quarter. Why not another? He was the only guy who wasn't shooting well in the first half, but 2 3 balls could certainly change that for him in this game, as Ryan Dunn, who's been quiet, gets an and 1 opportunity. Broom has been on the receiving end of a couple of good pick and roll passes in this game. Offensive rebound hauled in by Burke for the second chance points. And once again, the pick and roll working with Janai Broom. Dragic there picking up the assist for Kansas City. Now in the corner, Dragic splashes home a 3. It's been nice to see the development he's made. He's certainly very confident. He was last year too. He's just making more of his shots now. inside. Not a great pass from Hawkins, but it's good enough for the and one for Will Burke. It's an 18-point game now. Walker finds Burke wide open at the elbow. And the lead has burgeoned up to 20. Burke, no one on him, as Norm Adams went for the steal on the entry pass. So that's about as easy of a bucket as you can possibly ask for Will Burke. And Adams able to finish around Ken Nixon. Now it's Nixon's turn to go back at the rookie and answers those 2 points right back with 2 of his own as Hawkins finds some wide open space in the mid-range. Pushing the ball ahead to Jalen Duran, who slams it all over Will Burke. Great feed by the rookie point guard. Nixon goes by Adams, pulls up in the mid-range, splashes another basket in from that area. Very proficient in this game from the in-between. As Adams gets one himself. They did it to us a couple of possessions ago. Now it's our turn. Nixon to Webb, full court pass for the basket. No good on the Norm Adams layup. And with the time winding down, Burke pulls up for 3 to end the third quarter and drills it. Great shots from Will Burke to end the third quarter, and it makes our lead 25. Going into the fourth, I don't know how much more of this game we really need to watch. There's a good patient drive there from Nixon. Leads to a layup. Adams feeds inside. Jovic able to finish that one around the defense. Nixon. This time going right at Norm Adams. And one on the basket. Adams backing down Nixon. I don't know if that's going to work for you, young fella. Nixon with the block. Going the other way into a Jordan Hawkins layup. Vooch in the post. He's got Nixon on him, and the pass gets deflected. Nixon doing some great things defensively to start the quarter, and that layup makes it a 30-point game. I think we can just about wrap up our viewing experience of this one. The Venom getting lucky in the lottery and the Rain not getting quite as lucky has certainly, at least for this season, put a gap between these teams in terms of just how they've really played throughout the entirety of the season, and it showed in this effort. We got a great Ken Nixon game in this one. Norm Adams had 21 points in 19 minutes. That's pretty dang good, but not nearly enough for the Kansas City Rain to come out victorious. Taking home MVP for the season is Jokic. 30, 11 with 7.5 in his first year in Golden State. Pretty dang good. Will Burke will win Rookie of the Year. If we want to take a look at his competition, Brooke Paul played 58 games with 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Also got a steal and a half. Shot 49% from the field, 37.7% from deep. Norm Adams had his great stats on the year, but didn't even reach 20 games. Unfortunate with that injury. We even let him come back for an extra game here at the end. Jermaine Davidson scored 10 points a game for this team. Played 81 games. I think the one he didn't play might have been the one we just watched. I can't remember seeing him if he played at all. Jameson actually looked pretty good for Detroit, but he only played 4 games. I don't know why they wouldn't let him keep playing after that, but Sixth Man of the Year goes to Tyler Hero. We'll talk about the Heat in a second. Their team's actually pretty dang good. Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player of the Year, as always, Lewis Miller. 28 points per game with 6 assists. Dang. Lewis Miller putting in work in New Orleans. Clutch player, Luka, scored 33, 8.5, 9.5. Kerr, 62 win Warriors. Yeah, Executive of the Year, bringing in Jokic and Thompson pretty well deserved here. Cade scored 35 points per game, as did Anthony Edwards. Those are the other two players on first team. We got nearly a 30 and 10 average from Tyrese Halliburton. Steven Delk gets second team All-NBA in his second season. Maybe something that we can hopefully look forward to with Burke next year. Shea, 32 points per game. Actually his lowest of the rebuild, which is crazy to say. He averaged 40 points a game as the first year of this series. That's kind of crazy. Paolo Banchero, 39 and 5. 29 with 8.5 for Trae Young. Third team. Got some injured players here. We got Giannis. Tatum dropping 33 a game on the not so good Celtics. Josh Giddey here, third team All-NBA. He's definitely a stat sheet stuffer. Scoot Henderson, I saw he broke the Trailblazers records for most points total in a season. And I was going to say it's probably because he played almost every game. He played 81 games and averaged 27 points per game in them. Cooper Flagg is a beast in this game, as he should be. Looking at all rookie first team, so it was Brooke Paul is in second place. Aaron Gibson ends up first team all rookie. Jermaine Davidson and Martin Henry. So oh wow, not even second team all rookie either for our guy Parks. Wagner gets here. Michael Rowe gets here. He played a lot of minutes for Detroit. Homer Russell is in here. Frederick Rodman of the Jazz. We freed him up for some minutes with the Porzingis trade. Carl Parks of Boston. And let's go ahead and take a look at the final standings. Now, of course, let's pay attention to the Trailblazers and the Bucks as we get the best of those two picks. The Trailblazers ended up 35 and 47, so that is fourth place so far in just the Western Conference. Fourth worst team. In the East, the Bucks end up 25 and 57. So 25 wins is tied for the Jazz. So we're talking the fifth or sixth odds will be where we are at in the lottery. We, of course, spent a lot of time on the West. The Miami actually kind of fell apart at the end. I mean, 6-4 is not bad, but they were number 2 in the East at one point in Brooke Paul's rookie year. So he's already playing in the playoffs with home court advantage in his rookie year. He got the benefit of being drafted to a very quality organization that has Tyler Hero coming off the bench for them and Khalil Ware. Like, deep teams do well in 2K, and this team is deep and good. So I think it's going to be fun to follow the Heat. There's like 3 teams in the East that I'm interested in following and hopefully eventually playing in the finals. The other one would be Washington, and of course, hope Kansas City can be good for an expansion showdown at some point in this series. But here is your playoff seeding. We will sim through the plan. So the playoff teams: Golden State, Memphis, New Orleans, Minnesota, San Antonio, Los Angeles Lakers, with Dallas and OKC. In the East, grabbing the 1 seed was the Hawks, going against Washington. They got through the play-in. So Steven Delk with his first playoff appearance. Pistons versus the Magic here. We got Brooke Paul and the Heat going against Toronto. Indiana versus Charlotte. We'll be going through the playoffs. Maybe actually get some playoff clips for the first time. In the next episode, we will also be going through the lottery to see where exactly it is that the Venom will select as we try to continue to improve this core. But speaking of this core, let's not get out of this episode without going through the final year 3 stats for the squad. Ken Nixon in his second season averaged 2.5 more points a game, 0.8 rebounds more, and 1.3 assists more. Stock's pretty equal here. Efficiency way up in very similar numbers. He ends up going 50, 40, 90 in his second season. Awesome. Anthony Simons, 22.6 points per game. Would have tied his career high prior to Las Vegas, but of course this is lowest with us. His assists are his highest with us, and just wasn't quite as efficient. I think if he had matched his efficiency from last year, he could have been maybe a 24 point per game kind of guy. Will Burke in his first season, 16, 9, and 5, led the team in assists per game. 0.9 steals per game. I was hoping for more than 1.2 blocks if I had like one thing, but very pleased with what I saw from Will Burke in his rookie season. I'm very excited to see him progress and what badges we can get, what ability increases we can get. Jarris Walker ends up 11 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 2.5 stocks. Uber efficient all year long for us. 55% from the field and 39% from 3. I mean, he really impressed me, especially like down the stretch of this season. I felt like he started to play better in spotlight games too. Like the improvements from like Simons was bad early on, but he started to improve in spotlight games. Jarris Walker started to make his presence known in spotlight games a little bit more. I like it. Just under 10 points per game for Jordan Hawkins. We saw that there was a couple times in simulation that he actually led the team in scoring. He dropped, 5 3-point attempts per game, and he hit 42% of them. Strother just behind him. He's a 50, 40, 88 on the team. 44% from 3 is really good for Julian Strother. There's a good chance both of these guys are back for next year. But if it's only one, I'm probably at this point leaning Strother for defensive purposes, I'd say. But I wouldn't mind bringing both these guys back next year. Paris Webb in his first season did not quite make the all-rookie team cut. Seeing his stats, I could see why, for sure. But that being said, I'm pretty pleased with what we saw from him in year 1, considering he's showing 74 overall, but I think that's with a slight morale boost. I think he's a 73 base, if I remember right. I'm taking those numbers, and I'm excited to see how he can progress too. Kobe Buffkin has not really done much to improve in his time with us, which is kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. Ryan Dunn. I mean, I think pretty much is what he is at this point. Although I will say the jump up to 36% from 3 is a pretty big one. Hasn't quite been able to hit 50% from the free throw line yet, though. He's played 28 minutes per game in all 3 seasons with us. Jay Will had 46% from the field, 36% from deep, which is his career high with us, not for OKC, of course. Had his minutes per game reduced with Will Burke being inserted in the starting lineup. I think he plays pretty well in spotlight games. In simulation, not so sure. And that's the roster for this season. In terms of what I think we need to improve, I think we need to get a situation that Anthony Simons becomes a 6th man. I know he's been a reliable scorer for us in his 3 years with us, but I also know he was actually impressive for the last couple episodes for the season. It's just that those bad games still exist, and you'll see some of these bad habits in terms of shot selection pop up for him, and he's also not really a defender. And so that to me screams like off the bench flamethrower. It's a role I always like on all my teams that I've built. If you look at the 3 rebuilds I've done on 2K, well, the 2 prior to this one, we don't really have it for this one yet. But that I love a bench guard that comes in and just puts up shots and might go 1 for 10 one night, but might put up 25 the next. I think it's a nice thing to have on a basketball team, and I think that's ultimately Simon's best role. Replacing that with somebody with some good length and the ability to play some good defense, I think could really round this team into shape, still give Simons a bigger role. That probably means like a guy like Hawkins comes out of the rotation for us. A guy like Bufkin maybe comes out of the rotation for us. Somebody's going to have to come out, but I think our next move is probably in the backcourt. I wouldn't mind if there's a good fit for a new backup center either. I'd say those are probably our most replaceable positions going into the offseason, which we will be getting to in the next episode, which will be out soon. And I'll see you then. Fangs out.